When I was growing up, I was told there were three things that you don't talk about in public: religion, money, and politics. And while I do tend to stay away from the religion and the politics, today we're going to break the taboo and talk about money. Welcome to the Stay at Home Nurse Podcast. I'm your host, Deanna Cooper Gillingham. For over 25 years, I've strived to use my nurse credentials to find work that fit my lifestyle. Whether it was raising my 4 children and 3 fur babies, traveling the world, or moving to Mexico and living on the Caribbean Sea. Sometimes I succeeded, and sometimes I failed, but I always learned from the experience. Now, I want to help you by sharing what worked and what didn't work. There are so many opportunities out there for nurses today. The Stay at Home Nurse Podcast will inspire and equip you to have a nursing career that is meaningful and supports your lifestyle. Now let's get started. Hello and welcome to today's episode of the Stay at Home Nurse Podcast. Today I want to talk about money. I want to actually revisit episode 23 with Nasima McElroy of Financially Intentional. Because that was an interview podcast, it went a little longer than most of my podcasts. So I didn't take the time at the end I had intended to really discuss and hash out some of my feelings regarding financial freedom. Let's start off by discussing my definition of financial freedom. To me, financial freedom means that when the money comes in, I get to decide what I'm spending it on. That means I haven't already promised that money to someone else. When we have debt in any form, including student loans, car loans, even a mortgage, we have promised that money to someone else before we even earned it. This takes away our financial freedom. We are no longer free to spend that money how we choose today. We've already decided in the past how we will be spending the money we will be making in the future. So to me, financial freedom means that I owe no money to anybody. I am completely 100% debt-free. So why would you even want to consider being debt-free or having financial freedom? Several reasons. Number one, it gives you the freedom to live where you want. I have chosen to live in Mexico on the Caribbean Sea. And if tomorrow I decide I want to live somewhere else, I can do that. I can do this because I have chosen to have financial freedom and be debt-free. Reason number 2, financial freedom gives me the freedom to adapt to change or to change my mind. If my circumstances in life change, it's very easy for me to adapt to that because I haven't already promised my money to someone else. If an opportunity comes open for me to donate to a charity that I believe in, I can do that because I haven't promised my money to someone else. If an opportunity to travel to a place I've always wanted to go to comes up, as long as I have the money in the bank, I can do that because I haven't promised that money to someone else. Okay, moving on to number 3. Having financial freedom gives you the freedom to say no to overtime, second jobs, and basically just stressing yourself out and overextending yourself. Financial freedom lets you say no. Reason number 4. Financial freedom lets you say yes to the job you want and not have to take the job that pays you the most money. There's something so freeing about going to work because you enjoy your job and it's what you want to do, and not having to go to work because you need the money. I've had a lot of nurses reach out to me and they want to change positions, but the position that they want doesn't pay as well as their current position. As nurses, the ability for us to work off shifts, overtime, weekends, and get all that differential can be a blessing and a curse. It's a blessing because we have the opportunity to make all that extra money, but it's a curse when we want to move to something else. I've had nurses reach out to me that they got the perfect job opportunity, a school nurse so that they'd be working the same hours as their children and be off when their children are off, or a work from home position, or other various positions, but they couldn't take them because the pay was so much less. Not necessarily the hourly pay, but the fact that they wouldn't be working either as many hours or they wouldn't be getting the shift differential that they would be getting at the hospital. But when money is no longer a factor, you can take the job that makes you happy and fits within your lifestyle, giving you the work-life balance that is so important to so many of us. I think this is a good place to bring up lifestyle creep. So what is lifestyle creep? That's basically when your lifestyle creeps up little by little so that you're spending more and more money to fill in any gaps that you were making. You may have had some money left over at the end of the month, but your lifestyle just keeps creeping up and creeping up and creeping up so that you no longer have any money left at the end of the month. As nurses, when we work overtime or we work shift differentials and we're making more money, somehow that money finds a way to get spent unless we're very intentional about doing something else with it. And that can lead to what is known as the golden handcuffs. The golden handcuffs are when you are handcuffed to a job because of the benefits or income that that job gives you. You can't leave that job even if you want to because you can't afford to leave. Okay, and now to our last reason why financial freedom is so important. Financial freedom gives you the freedom to speak up when you see something that is not right. This is something that Nasima and I talked about in episode 23, and I'll have a link in the show notes. When you see something going on as a nurse that you don't agree with, sometimes you fear retaliation or losing your job if you speak up. But knowing that you are financially free, that you don't have those financial burdens, that you will still be able to make it even if you lose that job, can give you the freedom to speak up, be a better advocate for your patient or coworkers, and do the right thing. So, if you decide you want to become financially free, how do you do that? There are tons of resources out there that can help you with this. My favorite is YNAB, which stands for You Need a Budget. And I know, budgets sound so constricting, but this way of budgeting is actually very freeing because you get to pick where you want to spend your money. And then once you make that decision, that active decision, being proactive and deciding beforehand where you're going to spend your money, you get to actually spend it. So it's more of a spending plan. Also, I would refer you back to Nasima. She has a lot of good information on her website. If you have a lot of student loan debt, she can tell you how to pay it off in the best way. My goal with this podcast is to help you to get the lifestyle freedom that you desire. And one of the keys to getting lifestyle freedom is financial freedom. You have to have the financial freedom to be able to accept that perfect position when it comes. Or if you're like me and you're more on the entrepreneurial path, you need to have the lifestyle freedom that allows you to take the risks that you need as an entrepreneur. And being debt-free will help you to get there. Okay, that's a wrap on this week's episode. I know some of the things that we talked about may be a little controversial, but I hope that you will at least consider them. Also, if there's somebody that you know that would benefit from listening to this podcast, please pass it on to them. And make sure you hit the subscribe button so you never miss an episode.